Well, it's time for another expert website review, this time for OptimizePressGeek.com. Hi, I'm Scott Fox from Click Millionaires and ExpertWebsiteReviews.com. Today we're going to talk about OptimizePressGeek.com for our good friend Kevin, who's a longtime contributor and one of our favorite people in the Click Millionaires forums at ClickMillionaires.com and in our Masterminds forum at ClickMillionaires.org. So Kevin, this is for you. Hopefully we'll find some things to do to help you improve your site as you requested when you asked for this website tune-up community clinic. Hey, if you'd like a website review like this one, please come over and join us in the Click Millionaires Masterminds forum or visit expertwebsitereviews.com anytime to order one. All right, well, you've got a beautiful site here, and as a lot of folks have said already in the forum, it's very clean, it's very pretty, it's laid out nicely, the fonts are big enough, the contrast is good. You obviously know what you're doing, you're a professional here, so I won't belabor the obvious, but nice work in general. Of course, our goal here is to see what we could do better to help you make more money and get more business as an optimized press expert. In fact, you gave some questions here on your submission form, and you're particularly interested in how to improve your call to action on the homepage, and I've got some thoughts about that. You want to know about whether you should put a video on the homepage. Of course, I'll address that as well. And particularly, you want to drive people to buy your Skype training and to teach them how to use Optimized Press better, since you are an expert yourself. So let's go through those questions along with some other things, and I think together we can help you get the site up to the next level. So let's start at the top. Well, I love your little logo guy. Mr. Geek here is very cute, and cute in a good way. I mean, I think he's cute in the sense he'll appeal to females, but also he's an attractive comic book style character that guys will like. So I don't think he's too cute, like using Hello Kitty or something. I think he's a good mascot, and I would use him more, actually, and I'll talk about that in a minute. The logo sets across the three different words nicely. I don't know why you wouldn't just add .com to that while you're at it, just to drive home the fact that this is a website. I always recommend that. But what I like most about your header banner, well, in addition to the cartoon, I like the mascot, is that it's not very tall. So many websites, people put up these great big header banners, and that's just wasted space. You've squeezed your branding, your logo, and everything into just a tight space there, and it leaves you more below to do your marketing, and I think that's smart. We'll talk in a second about these different pages, but I do have some opinions on that. But let's really talk about this. This is the heart of the website, right? The above the fold space. So I think you do need a stronger call to action. I totally agree with that, your question about that, and I'll get to that. But first I wanted to talk about this. The other big thing on a website, as you know, and everybody in our Masterminds forum knows, I say every time, is focus on getting the email addresses, because that's an asset that you can build for yourself that will appreciate over time if you use it well. So you're doing that. You've given it the sort of priority placement that I think it deserves. But I have to agree with Ola, one of our other members in the forum, who said that the flow here is kind of odd. And unfortunately, it looks like Optimized Press is really about this new style of just single column design, because this is the perfect place to put that stuff in a sidebar. I'd really recommend putting this email collection kind of right here, maybe next to this arrow as a sidebar. Or maybe you could put it in, maybe it's not a sidebar on the whole page, but at least a column here. Or perhaps up in the header. Because here in the middle, it's distracting, and it takes up too much space, frankly, for what it's worth. If you can make your offer concisely, you don't need boxes that are nearly this large. Enter your first name, enter your email address. Both of those could be half those or even a third of that size, and stacked on top of a yes button to subscribe, and the whole thing could fit into a space about this big with some sales language above it, instead of this huge thing that's across your page. Now, I agree that it should be prominently displayed above the fold. I just don't think that's where people are used to seeing it, and it's distracting to me, frankly. Because the other thing that's missing is this. What is this that I get? What are these special offers? I'd love to have you, and you mentioned in the forum that you're preparing I think it was an ebook of tips or something. I think that's a great idea. You need to have a little bribe here to get people to give you their contact info so that you can follow up. Even this stuff I don't think is necessary. We enter your name and email below. Most people get that now. And as is we value your privacy but never spam. I mean, that can't hurt. Well, yeah, it can. It can take up space. And together, if you take this little line here and add the space above and below, it is taking a lot of valuable space. So I would put that at most in fine print down below the button here and stack it all ideally in a column over above my head here and add a graphic of whatever it is you're going to give them. I think that would help a lot. Then I would also repeat that offer on every page. The email address is your main way to money here, as long as you make the effort, of course, to follow up and use those emails appropriately in the future. So that's my first big critique that I think is different than what you've done. Everything else is kind of refinements, but that's kind of a structural change that I would suggest anyway. All right, next, your tagline is kind of fun. You bringing a geek into it. Somebody said in the forum that it's kind of long. I agree. Maybe you could shorten it. Maybe just need help using Optimized Press. That might be enough. And then I think a second line would be helpful for two reasons. It would make the first line shorter, but you could also explain a little, because there was a lot of puzzlement in the forum, at least from people who didn't know what Optimized Press was. And of course, you're marketing to people who do know what Optimized Press is, so I don't think it's a huge problem, but a little tagline beneath this in more regular size font would be the perfect place to say something, to explain what it is, and to also reintroduce your geek concept. Maybe say something like, I'm just making this up, if the first line said, need help using Optimized Press, then the second line could say, I'm a talented Optimized Press geek who would love to help you with this wonderful new WordPress theme that's optimized for marketing use on your website, or something like that. You can you can play that back 5 times and transcribe it, or you can just make up your own, but you get the idea. I think a subtitle basically would help you kill a couple birds with one stone, and it could be placed right here without hurting much of anything. Okay, I liked this sort of off-center graphic. It's a little different, kind of fun, eye-catching. Your big question about the video. I think a video would be good, especially because you are doing the personal sale here, and I like the personal sale. You are Mr. Geek, and I think that would be fine to do a video. I don't agree or worry so much about what you expressed in your form submission, which was the problem with videos' load times. Yeah, load times are a problem, but I don't think they're that big a problem, to summarize it. I mean, if you can host an embed from YouTube or host it yourself, it's not like you're getting tons of traffic on this site, I wouldn't think, because this is a very niche interest, right? I think a video would outweigh the benefits of the load time, as long as the load time isn't ridiculous, if it's 60 seconds or something. But I have small videos on lots of my sites, and if you can do this without having it take a ton of load time, I think the benefit would outweigh the lack of video, if video is something you want to do, because you're a personable guy, and I think that's great. And in between on that would be, I think that the video would be great down here a little. I'm not sure this is the perfect place for it, and I'll tell you why in a second. But a video down here that was not an auto load, but like this could be a video of you talking, right? Explaining your services and who you are, and being the friendly geek that you are. So let's talk about what do I think you should do here. Well, I think you should sell what you're selling. You've hidden the ball a couple times here, and you say, I'd like to know if there's anything I can do to improve my call to action on the home page. I want them to buy Skype training. Well, then I would put that right here. Hi, welcome. Buy this Skype training. I mean, get to the point, right? You click on here, and this is okay. This is fine stuff. But this one isn't necessarily emphasized as your big priority. If that's your big priority, I would make it a lot bigger than the other ones. But more importantly, you have that same stuff down here somewhere too, right? So it's repeated. I'm not sure that's a great idea. I would rather see this kind of thing up above the fold to replace this stuff, but to make this one really the focus. If that's what you want, then do it. And I'm not sure get started now is the right call to action. How about order my services now, or get a quote now, or something that implies a financial relationship, a purchase. Buy now, shop now, add to cart, get a quote, learn what it costs. We can talk about this more on the forum, of course, but that kind of thing, I would, if that's what you're trying to do here, then do it. You don't need to hide it. And I noticed that this was something that some of your competitors do. Very similar layout here with the services and so forth. And I don't think you need to mimic that, frankly. You can do your own thing, and these are your competitors, which are very interesting. You can see clearly what the Optimized Press setup looks like and how it works, right? But I think you can do your own thing, and I'd like to see it focus on exactly what you want it to focus on, which is giving a call to action to buy Skype training, and then maybe to purchase the video library membership when you finish that part later. That's what I would do here. Then down here, okay, maybe a video here. If you're going to use this photo, I would come in on yourself a little more. I don't need so much of the palm trees and so forth. I actually like the photo that you have. Is it on your About page or your Contact page? Yeah, that's a little close. That's you, right? More than the other one. Although, of course, it's always nice to have palm trees in the background. I buy that, especially as a guy from Michigan. You appreciate that as much. We both appreciate that, right? I like this personal approach. But I also like the mascot, like I said, this Mr. Geek up here. So when you redo this, I think it would be fine to use this guy again and bigger. Especially if you could maybe have him expanded as a full body, like maybe he's at a keyboard typing, or he's just kind of doing this, you know, like showing, hey, here's the service or something, and make him, you know, a big part of this, or maybe pointing at the action button, like, hey, buy this right now, right here, get the quote, or whatever it is. I think he's cool and cute and useful. Okay, so all that being said, I like the personal approach. You're a personable guy. I think that's good. I think I would add the code so that your links are underlined. I know that's not cool, but it makes it a lot more readable, right? This would be more readable, and people are more likely to do it if you underlined it. Of course, it could also use an arrow or some bolding or something like that. All of these things, I think, need to be links. This is a bunch of dead screen stuff, and then it's kind of repeated over here. Actually, there isn't a one-to-one relationship on that one, is there? So what if I wanted to find out about membership sites? Clicking on this doesn't take me to membership sites. So that's actually a disconnect that I just realized live here. And I would try to, if you're pushing this and offering this, and I would make sure that this is linkable and it goes to something specific about how you can set up membership sites. It doesn't need to be a whole page or a world of information, but this is kind of all just dead copy then, which is supposedly driving here, but this is not, again, a strong call to action. And this button doesn't link specifically to these services, and that's a problem because you're confusing the customer. That will improve your conversions if you match the button action or the link action to what the link says it's about, right? Recommendations, always a good idea. Of course, it would be nice to have more. These take up a lot of vertical space again. I guess that's the style for Optimized Press, but I'm not sure I buy it. As we're scrolling here, I like, again, how the header is staying here. It floats, which is kind of nice. That's another reason, if you can, to put the email sign-up offer in there, because then it would be on every page easily without impinging on the column setup that you have below. Okay, next, frequently asked questions are good. And now here's the rest of it. This is your other main revenue stream, as I understand it. You want people to actually buy Optimized Press through you. Then I would say that. This is all nice, but this is the point. Order here, order now, and get some bonuses, so that your big call to action button shouldn't be about seeing bonuses. It should be buy Optimized Press through me and get bonuses. Both good points, but you need the buy here, not just click here to see offers. Sell the thing. It isn't about do you like bonuses. I think it's about this. So I think that the theme is a little off in the sense that my eye tunes out this blue banner style here because these white on blue is a little soft and it's a traditional leaderboard banner size and shape. I kind of breeze right past that and I focus on the stuff in black. Do you like bonuses? Well, sure, I like bonuses, but that's not relevant to anything to do with Optimized Press unless I labor through reading this up here and all this other stuff. So you might consider flipping this with this, and that same style goes throughout the site. I don't know how customizable Optimized Press is with this, but it's kind of like these are your H1s, and your H2s are actually overwhelming them. Like here, Meet Kevin McClellan pops to me, even though it's smaller, more than this pops. Because again, it's white on a light blue, and this whole line here, I don't even see, right? I blow right past this to focus on this. And this is underlined, but it's not a link, which is confusing. So I would get rid of that, underline your links instead. Small point, pilot is nice, although I don't think it would be capitalized here. I'm not sure frequent vacation taker is the thing you want to be promoting yourself as. I get it. I want to be a frequent vacation taker too. But I think you probably want to sound more like you're reliable and you can do the business that people need done when you're available all the time to them, right? You're a service provider here, not a vacation taker. So it's cute, but I might be distracting. Okay, let's see what else we got here. So I would also think that we might have some changes for you to make some improvements that weren't necessarily on your request sheet. And here's some thoughts about that. I like the blog. Clearly you're going to put some more content in there and build that up over time. That makes sense to me. But again, I think you could use your email collector here. But the About Us and Contact pages are pretty similar. I think you could probably combine those because you've got to contact Kevin and hi there, promise I won't bite, and pretty much there you are, not biting. So I think those together with this pretty much the same line here, contact Kevin for more info. And I recommend combining those because the fewer distractions you give people, the more likely there are to click on the thing that you want. So if services and pricing are really what you're about, then the contact and the about should be one. And even the blog might get demoted along with those down to the footer. I don't think you can see the footer here, but down below these share buttons and everything, you've got a pretty plain text footer. And you could put some buttons or something down there, at least if this theme will allow that. A couple other thoughts I had were your SEO optimization strategy. You mentioned the keywords that you're targeting being, not surprisingly, optimized press theme, discount, getting started training. What you didn't have in there, Kevin, was help. What about help? I would think that people, when they are stuck on optimized press, are probably Googling for things like help with optimized press or problem with optimized press or how to fix optimized press. Those are the sort of things that I would think you might want to SEO optimize for, in addition to the more obvious use of the optimized press words itself. And I think some more optimization there might be interesting, at least in your meta tags and perhaps in your blog posts and things like that. In fact, look at this. You used help right here in your own tagline. So I think some more of that would be a good idea. Then I also thought I had one idea for you as an extra service. You have your services here, and here they are. Personalized video training, optimized training. These look good. And it's pretty clear, what they cost and so forth. By the way, this specific box, well, not this one, but the Skype one. If this is what you want to sell, I wouldn't just take. I wouldn't just take this box. I would actually. Why not just full on put this? It doesn't have to be so darn big. Put something like this right on the home page, and people will get the idea much quicker what you're about and decide whether they want to do it or not. 1 hour session, $47. Live training via Skype. Oh, okay, I get it. This is what this guy does. It's live training for Skype. That may not be what they want, in which case they're out of there. But then it's up to you to offer them something cool to get their email address, because even if they found their way here, they're obviously a pretty good prospect potentially for you and your training. So I think putting this kind of stuff that details prices and options right on the homepage is a fine idea. Why not, right? You don't need to hide the ball through several layers of sort of general pictures, get started now, and then you go to the services page, and then you go, oh, here, what are these? I have to read through all this. Okay, I guess this is the one I want, and then finally you get some prices. This is it right now, right? Isn't that what you want? This is your call to action, I think. And again, I think these words could be stronger. Get started now, buy this, click to order, get a quote, something like that, and bigger. The prices are actually not the thing I would make the largest. I think I would kind of flip this around. I would put live training via Skype up here in the biggest letters, the bigger letters, and then 1 hour session is the product, right? And then the price should be the small thing, this one. And then I think the words in here could be stronger, and maybe the colors too. But that's the kind of idea. This kind of thing compressed on the home page with this guy as your mascot demonstrating it, I think will get you farther faster than what you have today. I also had an idea for one more service for you, and it's not clear if you do this or not, but do you offer the ability for somebody to just call you? There are services online which you could Google or you're probably aware of where you can sign up to be like a per hour or even per minute sort of coach, like those old psychic, 800, 900 numbers, right? And charge people, I don't know, $3, $10, whatever it is per minute. Or you could have even people on, that's on a one-off, but maybe there's even room here, and I'm just making this up, but maybe there's room for you to create an on-call retainer service, like a lawyer. There's those prepaid legal services and stuff, and have people pay you whatever, I don't know what it is, $50 a month maybe, indefinitely, just to be able to pick up the phone every now, or email or Skype or whatever works for you as part of your lifestyle design as a Click Millionaire. But what works for you. $50 a month, and you can email me, an indefinite number of times every month, and I'll get back to you within 24 hours every time. That's a thing, and it sounds like you're so well qualified to do that. That might be a product for you. Just a thought, something we could kick around in the forum some more if you'd like. So I hope that's helpful for you, Kevin. I like the site. I think it's very professional looking, and it's clear you know what you're doing, but hopefully some of these suggestions are helpful to you. And hopefully they're helpful to anybody else who's watching this later on YouTube or on our expert website, reviews.com blog, or in the Click Millionaires forum or anywhere else. I'm Scott Fox, and this has been an expert website review for our good friend Kevin, who is making some money here, I think, already, and ready to make some more at his OptimizePressGeek.com. If you need help with OptimizePress, here's your guy. Thanks for watching.